The Kennebec River is a 170-mile-long river that is entirely within the U.S. state of Maine. It rises in Moosehead Lake in west-central Maine. The east and west outlets join at Indian Pond, and the river then flows southward from Harris Station Dam, the largest hydroelectric dam in the state. It is joined at the forks by the Dead River, also called the West Branch, then continues southward past the cities of Madison, Skowhegan, Waterville, and the state capital Augusta. At Richmond, it flows into Meeting Bay, a 16-mile-long freshwater tidal bay into which also flow the Androscoggin River and 5 smaller rivers. The Kennebec then runs past the shipbuilding center of Bath, then to the Gulf of Maine in the Atlantic Ocean. Ocean tides affect the river height as far north as Augusta. Tributaries of the Kennebec River include the Carrabassett River, Sandy River, and Sebasticook River. The name Kennebec comes from the eastern Abenaki, Kennebec meaning large body of still water, large bay. Segments of the East Coast Greenway run along the Kennebec. History. The Abenaki village of Norridgewock was located on the Kennebec in the 1600s. Shipbuilding. The English Popham colony was founded on the Kennebec in 1607. The settlers that built the Virginia of Sagadahoc, the first ocean-going vessel built in the New World by English-speaking shipwrights. Hundreds of wooden and steel vessels have since been launched on the Kennebec, particularly in Bath, the so-called City of Ships, including the Wyoming, one of the largest wooden schooners ever built. The sole remaining shipyard is the Bath Iron Works, one of the few yards still building warships for the United States Navy. The U.S.CGC Kennebec was named after this river. An English trading post, Cushnock, was established on the Kennebec in 1628. Father Rale's War. England's 1710 conquest of Acadia brought mainland Nova Scotia under its control, but New France still claimed present-day New Brunswick and present-day Maine east of the Kennebec River. To secure its claim, New France established Catholic missions in the 3 largest native villages in the region, one on the Kennebec River, one further north on the Penobscot River, and one on the St. John River. The dispute led to Father Rale's War, which ended with the defeat of Father Rale at Norridgewock. The retreat of the native population from the Kennebec and Penobscot rivers, and England's dominion over Maine. Navigation. The Kennebec River was an early trade corridor to interior Maine from the Atlantic coast. It was the route followed by 1,110 American Revolutionary War soldiers during Benedict Arnold's expedition to Quebec in 1775. Ocean ships could navigate upstream to Augusta. The cities of Bath, Gardner, Hallowell and Augusta, and the towns of Woolwich, Richmond and Randolph developed adjacent to the transportation corridor. The river upstream of Augusta became an important transportation corridor for log driving to bring wooden logs and pulpwood from interior forests to sawmills and paper mills built to use water power, where the city of Waterville and the towns of Winslow, Skowhegan, Norridgewock, Madison, Anson, and Bingham developed. The Maine Central Railroad and U.S. Route 201 were later constructed following the river through these towns and cities. During the War of 1812, near the Kennebec River, the Battle of Hampton was fought in Maine. Ice industry. In 1814, Frederick Tudor began to establish markets in the West Indies and the southern United States for ice. In 1826, Rufus Page built the first large ice house near Gardner to supply Tudor. The ice was harvested by farmers and others who were inactive due to the winter weather. The ice was cut by hand, floated to an ice house on the bank, and stored until spring. Then, packed in sawdust, it was loaded aboard ships and sent south. Edwards Dam. The Kennebec River before the construction of Edwards Dam was extremely important as a spawning ground for Atlantic fish. In 1837, the Edwards Dam was built across the Kennebec River, just shy of the limit of tidal influence. Made of timber and concrete, it extended 917 feet across the river and 25 feet high. Its reservoir stretched 17 miles upstream, and covered 1,143 acres. In 1999, the dam was removed. On April 1, 1987, over 6 feet of melting snow and 4 to 6 inches of rain in the mountains forced the river to flood its banks. By April 2, 1987, the river had crested at 34.1 feet above the normal 13 feet flood stage, meaning the river rose 21 feet. At the flood's peak, the flow topped out at an estimated 194,000 cubic feet per second. It caused about $100 million in damage, flooding 2,100 homes, destroying 215 and damaging 240 others. Signs of the flood can still be found around the towns and cities that line the river. Statistics: the river drains a total area of 5,869 square miles, and on average discharges 5.893 billion U.S. gallons per day into Merrymeeting Bay at a rate of 9,111 cubic feet per second. The United States government maintains 3 river flow gauges on the Kennebec River. The first is at Indian Pond, where the rivershed is 1,590 square miles. Flow here has ranged from 161 to 32,900 cubic feet per second. The second is at Bingham, where the rivershed is 2,715 square miles. Flow here has ranged from 110 to 65,200 cu/foot per second. The third is at North Sydney, where the rivershed is 5,403 square miles. Flow here has ranged from 1,160 to 232,000 cu/foot per second. 2 additional river stage gauges are in Augusta and Gardner. Both of these gauge heights are affected by ocean tides. Before the river was dammed, it was navigable as far as Augusta.